Alright, so the instructions are the same as last time, so I'm not going to go into that again. Okay, but basically we have to do the main and the branch development. We're going to the diagram. To find this base here, all you're going to do is you're going to draw this block or the basic outline of the main, which is a prism, and then you're going to take the top base across. You're going to go down 10 and at 45, and then you get this point. And we know that the radius is 14, so that means the distance from there to there is 28. So you draw a construction line, measure 28, draw the line in at 45. Okay, mark the center, take it back, draw this hexagon. Okay, take it back to find these two corners. Okay, so not very difficult at all. Then to draw this diamond, there's two ways to go about it. Okay, so the top view of the main, you can use Pythagoras to find that distance. If you want to use a compass, you can set your compass to that, draw the circle. Okay, just mark down the corners with your compass, but for that you need the radius, and they only give us the base side as 36. So if you're going to be using Pythagoras, you simply say a squared plus b squared, or in this case 2a squared equals 36. That gives us 1296. You take the root of both, and that will give you roughly 25,5. Again, not all students like to do this. Okay. Alternatively, what you can do if you want to construct it, rather, you take the center and draw two 45-degree construction lines through it. Then we take the radius, of course, or half of the base side, which is of course 18, and you mark down the 18 on each side, this way and this way, and through those points you draw 45-degree lines to find the base of the main. Okay, and now I'm going to show you roughly how to finish the front and top view of the interpenetration and to find the line as well. Alright students, so for the line of penetration, what we're going to do is I'm first going to go to the top view. I'm going to number the main or the primary anti-clockwise A, B, C and D, and then you've got points of penetration here, here and here that comes from the branch, okay, which should also be taken into account. So to solve those ones, all I'm going to do is I'm going to number them 1 and 2 and 3. Now please keep in mind that in all three cases, so of course there are two base points here, there will also be two penetration points here, one top and one below that. Okay, the same here for 2, there are two base points coming from the base, so the penetration points will also be 2, and there are 2 points, so 3 will also be 2 points. So although I've numbered 1, 2, 3, keep in mind there are 2.1s, 2.2s, and 2.3s. Okay, and then I'm going to carry over to the front view. Now if we want to simplify things, we can already see the penetration points should line up with the same as with the base points. So this is base point 1, 1, and this is base point 2, 2. Okay, and this 3 will coincide with base point 3, 3. So obviously, because this is the first angle of the graphic, as it flips 90 degrees back to the front view, okay, so what you're going to find is of course that this would be point 2 and 2, okay, and then you're going to have 3 in front, and then point 1 will be behind it. Just this helps it later on to make it simple to track which point you are plotting and when. Okay, so obviously for B is not going to be a point of penetration at all. Okay, C will be have a bend, so that point has to be taken into account. Okay, and then you're gonna have 2 and 3, and that's it. So the only extra point we have to deal with here is C. Okay, so to find point 1, it's very easy. The 1, 2, and 3s are going to be super duper easy. All you do is you take 1 up and 1 down, and with a cross you get 2.1. So you do the same for 3, do the same for 2. Okay, so basically I take the point 1 from the top view and I project the line up. Okay, so where 1 and 1 coincide, you're actually going to find your point of penetration on 1 and 1. So there's already 2. Okay, and they in both cases will be 1, and then we take 2 straight up. Okay, and then I go to the 2.2s here on the base and I follow the line. So this would be 0.2, and this one will be 0.2. Sometimes you have to extend it a bit. Okay, so this would actually be the 0.2 that we found. Okay, and then 3, the same thing. I'll take the line up. Okay, and where it coincides with 3, again, I've extended it far enough, so 3 will line up with the construction coming from 3. 3 you extended, so there we have those points. So this will be 1, 1, that's of course 2 and 2, and then 3 and 3. So the only point that we're missing now is the point C, where it's going to bend. Okay, now in order to find C, it actually looks complicated, but it's not. Okay, C doesn't come from a corner of the branch. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the base and bounce it. So we're going to take the point C, which runs on the surface here. Then we're going to bounce it off that edge between 1 and 2. Okay, and remember there are 2, so you've got to take this point and that point. Then you take them up, where it's going to be between 1 and 2. Take them across, and that will give you the surface construction that you're going to need to be able to plot C. So I take the line up and I mark it here clearly between 1 and 2, and I do the same here. So there you can see it's between 1 and 2 in the top view, and I take it up. Okay, I mark it clearly there, and here they are. So there's that point between 1 and 2, and there's that point between 1 and 2. Okay, and then I'm just going to go at 45 degrees. We're going to extend the line out and do the same for this one. Okay, and then obviously it has to fall on this corner of C. So where's the point going to be? It's simply going to be there. Okay, so you will find that that point will actually sit on this line coming from C. Now after this, you can obviously see from this side that the penetration points of 3 will be visible. then it will go up and down to 2, there's both 2's, and then it's going to disappear going down to C and down to 1. So that we're not going to see, so that will probably be, you can detail that back part. So in the top view here you can see that from 2 it will go to C first, and from C it will go to 1. So you do the same in the front view. From 2 you go to C, and to C, and then from C you will go to 1. The same here, you go from 2 to C to 1. There's a line of penetration, so you can actually see it goes around the front here from 3 to 2, then it goes hidden detail to C and then 1. The two 1's are connected, and then C back to 2, so that's the hole that we'd find if we remove the two prisms from each other. Okay, and then of course, last but not least, you also have the corner of C that goes and disappears up to the point of penetration, that tiny bit there, and there has to be in detail as 1, and our front view and top view is complete. Okay, so grade 12s, in order to find the main, all you have to do is you take the height across, okay, and you have a gap. Again, you can make the gap smaller if you think it might not fit, and then we're going to take the true length of the base sides from the top view, which of course is here from, you can take any side, and we're going to mark down 4 of those. Okay, once you've done that, you can actually draw the construction lines across, and then please number it the same way. So you would have A, B, C, and D, A, B, C, D, and back to A. Okay, but then we also have these points that actually fall not on the base corners of the primary, so point 1, 2, and 3. Okay, I know in each case they are 2 as well. So all you have to do is you take the distance from C to 3, let's say, okay, in the direction of D. So you go to C and you plot down the points in the direction of D, and that will give you 3, and you can draw the line up. Okay, then you do the same for point number 2, let's call it C2, in the direction of D. So I go to 2 in the direction of D, and I mark 2 down, and I take that construction line up as well. And the last one, you take C1 in the direction of B, and you mark it down, and you draw the construction line up. And then it becomes very easy because I numbered. All I have to do now is I take, for example, let's start with point 1. There are the 2 point 1's that I marked in the front view. So if I take those lines across, I simply mark them on the line on 1. So okay, so the 1's here will coincide with the 1 there. So this will give you the vertical location, and the 2 1's from the front view here across, that will give you the horizontal location of those 2 coordinates. Okay, C is the only one that's actually falling on the primary, and that's very easy. So you just take the 2 point C's here, take it across, and you mark it on the corner of C. Then 2 is the same thing. Those are the 2.2's that you find here. So you take them across, mark them on 2, and as you go you can actually connect them. And then 3 of course is sitting here and here, and you take them across, you mark them on the line for 3, okay, and then you just connect the points, and you have your hole, and your primary is done. Those are grade 12s. In order to start with the branch development, first we have to realize we have to cut it at the shortest fold line. So if I go with my divider here, here's the corner of 2 and 2. So from the base to the penetration point, that's number 2. And if I go to number 1 here, okay, you can actually see that number 1 is a tiny bit longer. So we have to start with number 2 here. Now I know that the bottom 2 is much longer, okay, but that's fine, okay. So I'm going to go around clockwise, so you can't see it here, but I'm going to go from 2 here, and then I'm going to go around the back, and then back to the front. Okay, so in the top view here, I'm going to start cutting it on this 2 that's sitting here, and then I'm going to go to C, then 1, then the corner of 1 below it, okay, and then the 2 below it, and then the 2 3s, and then back to 2. So I'm just basically going to go around clockwise like that. Now point C is a bit of a sticky wicket because point C, it penetrates here on the surface. Now this is not, here's point C on the base here, but that's not a true length, because this base side, or the side here of the prism, is in fact not a true shape to your view. Neither is it a true shape here, so you can't actually take the distance from here. Okay, so what you can do is, you can also take C, take it across, and you can mark it on the auxiliary, and then you can take the distance from there. So what I'm going to do for C is I'm simply going to take the point C from here, and I'm going to mark it in 2 places here. So it's a distance of there, distance of there, they should be the same. Okay, so if we look at it there, I took the point C here, there's the penetration point, there's C on the base. I took it back on the auxiliary and I marked it on there. You could have done it with the bottom one as well, doesn't matter. And now I can actually say, right, so obviously the point 2 would be sitting here, okay, and then 3 and 1 would actually be sitting, so if 3 is in front, then this would be 3 and that would be 1. So the distance from 1 to 2 and from 2 to 3 is the same. And I can actually go and take my divider or compass, a ruler will work as well. I take the distance from 2 to 3, okay, and from 2 to 1. And then if I go to my branch development, I can actually take the distance from 2 to 1 there, and I can also take the distance from 2 to 3, okay, and you can actually go and mark that down for the 2 point C's. So to start, I numbered it here, cutting it at 2. Again, I'm going to go around clockwise. So I'm going to go to 1, 1, then 2 at the bottom, and then the 2 3s and back to 2 again. Okay, so if I go to the top view, just to reiterate. Okay, so I'm going to deal with point 2, the penetration point here, that line, and then I'm going to go to C, and then I'm going to go to 1, 1 below it, back to C, then 2 below it, to 3, 3 at the top, and back to 2 where I've cut it open. Okay, so now in order to plot the points, all you have to do is go to the penetration points here. Okay, so for example, if I want to start with 2, I just take 2 across and I mark it on the line of 2. Then after that I'm going to have C, I take it across at 45 and I mark it on C. Then I'm going to go to point 1, which is sitting here, I take it across at 45 and I mark it on 1. And then I get to the other one, point 1, and then I go across and I mark it on the second one. And as long as you go around with the points and just keep plotting on the lines, you will have the points in toto when you are done. So actually not that difficult once you've wrapped your brain around it. Alright, and there you can see I've actually wanted to plotted the points. So I started on 2, so in the front view I just went from 2 to C to 1, 1, C, 2, 3, 3, back to 2, and I just kept plotting on the same numbering points. So 2, C, 1, 1, C, 2, 3, 3, back to 2. And I just took them across. Again, you could have measured it here with, let's say, a divider or ruler. You could have plotted it across. So even if this was turned this way, okay, flat on the base, you could have just taken that and carried over, but in this case I just projected everything. It's a bit of a tight fit, but you can squeeze it in. And then I'm just going to connect the dots, add the fault lines, and we're done. Right, last but not least guys, please don't forget to label them as well. So this will be main development, that will be branch development. Please take into account that the 2 point C's here and here will actually not have their own fault lines. And that's it. We're done. Have a great day.